Good morning and welcome to the Shielded Prepper. I was going to film today, I should just say record it, process it, and then get it over to you this morning. Yet, I just desired to go live. So, as you guys jump on, I've got a couple updates for you. So, a couple in regard to current events, some homesteading updates, what we're working on, and some shifts that I've been noticing. So let's start with some of the homesteading updates. And really, I'd like you to hang out till the end. If you would, stay till the end. We are in our final push this summer. The weather is starting to change. We've been getting rain in the mornings. It's still warm, yet it's not hot. And I know that there's shifts in other areas. Some areas are still real warm. Other areas are cooling down. We're starting to see that shift, and boy, it's really nice. So I was going to give you an update. I had to get this done real quickly for an appraisal that we're having on our home. Good morning, John. So we had to get this deck rebuilt because I had tore it apart, and I had to get it done. So if any of you have ever walked through an appraisal, you have to have handrails. And so my deck right now, yesterday, I'll give you a little update. Hey, what's up, Toby? So I've just finished up here. So I stained it. I've got to come back through and do some touch up and such. I had to get one on because I knew it was going to start raining, and I intended on getting that dried in. But I rebuilt all underneath here. I used all lumber that I have for my property. So if you didn't see in some of the other videos, I tried to do this with as much as zero as I could. So a lot of this lumber I'd been collecting over the past couple years. Over the pandemic, I suppose my brother and I kind of fell into, and really he championed it, fell into this little lumber business, flipping lumber. So none of this is really perfect lumber, so I had to be quite creative. These are all 2x12s, and none of them were perfectly straight, so I had to cut, sand, ratchet strap into place, screw, deep screws. I think I used 5-inch screws on some of them even, and mostly 4-inch screws to get down into good wood to hold those things. You can see right down here, there's 6 60-gallon, basically 60-gallon water drums. And this is water storage. Each one of those has been stabilized. And the reason I'm showing those to you is not to say, hey, I intend on practicing what I preach. And I'm still preparing. I'm still preparing. Have water right now. Have water right now, guys. I know in Washington State where we are, we don't have as big of a problem. Yet, have some water stored just for flushing toilets. Just think about that, just for flushing toilets or washing your hands or your animals, being able to take care of them. Part of the reason that we have those is because, taking care of the animals. 30, 40 chickens, you'd be surprised how much water they consume every day. Hey, Kurt, welcome. So this is the front of it. I'm not done yet. Everything's still tore apart. It's all going to get finished up and looking good. But these are kind of how I'm finishing up the posts. I'm using hog fence. This is from when we raised our hogs. So I'm just using this. It's super sturdy stuff. And I'm kind of adding some little decorations on there. Yet I've been working on that and realizing the value of the tools that we own. How would we use them? It's important to have all that stuff right now. It really is. Okay, that was a little update on our deck. I added about 80 square feet, and it's built for Jesse. So if Jesse can stand on it, it's good. Hey, so a couple of things. One, there is the emergency broadcast system. Some of you may have heard that. Put in the comments if you've heard about this. October 4th at 2:20 Eastern time. And I don't know when they've done this last. So if maybe you know when they've done this last, yet there is going to be a national EMS emergency alert test. And it's going to go at the same time across the entire country. Have you guys heard this? Every phone, television, radio, computer, probably your smart devices, Alexa, all the Google stuff, your smart refrigerators or stoves. It's all going to come at one time, and they're going to test the bandwidth. We look at what happened in Hawaii, in Lahaina, just a tragedy that happened there, and they're going back and they're investigating why some of the emergency systems weren't in place. And I don't know. I don't know enough about all these I've heard conspiracy theories about this. We know that when the wind gets moving, it can take fire and turn it into a dragon real quick. I mean, the Economic Ninja talks about this all the time. Yet it's important right now for us to be realizing that we are in a season where emergency broadcast information is going to be necessary. Do you have radios in your home? Just easy walkie-talkies. Truthfully, do you have those? Because communications are going to be really key, and when those things start breaking down and certain systems break down for whatever reason that could be, just having some of those redundancies of communication set aside as a prep is a pretty cool thing. So that's in regard to October 4th at 2:20 Eastern time. They're going to be testing it. So don't be shocked. If this is the first you're hearing about it, great. Yeah, be prepared for these things. Our world is changing, and for those of us that can see past all of this, I don't see anything happening all in one place at one time. I just truly, it's what I know. It's a prudent thing to be prepared. It's a prudent thing. If you agree with that, give me a thumbs up. It's a prudent thing, meaning it's a respectful way to live. I'm reading about if you guys don't follow David Dubine, Adapt 2030. He's an interesting man to listen to. I've really enjoyed following his channel. He focuses on the minutia in the growing world, in the growing circles of how our climate's affecting production of food. And even in this record year of food inflation, or these record years of food inflation, and we've also seen a lot of really great food production in years past, yet it's starting to contract. And it's not that our world, and I'm not a climate guy, as far as I do believe that we go through cycles and historical cycles. I absolutely believe we're in one now. Yet what's happening is these record events as our shifts happening, the sun cycles, and all these other things that have been happening for thousands of years. What we're seeing is catastrophe hitting growing areas. So for example, in China, this massive flooding and rain, 140-year flood just hit, and you probably saw it downtown. Was it Beijing? The commercial district. I don't know exactly where it was. They were showing pictures of it. He has it on his most recent video, or one of his most recent videos. And he's showing all of the fields and thousands of acres that got flooded and completely destroyed whatever crop they were producing. You think about what's going on in Canada with these wildfires. We've been getting the smell of smoke. It has been burning all summer. Think about how that affects surrounding agriculture. Having that dense smoke and just the production of a country, it slows it down, and it's a catastrophe. It's, I think, the biggest fire they've ever had. What's happened in California with this hurricane that went up and stopped, what's going on in Florida. We're seeing some different patterns that we're not accustomed to. So hopefully you're understanding that if you just live in some place that doesn't get hit too hard, like the Pacific Northwest has a pretty balanced climate here. We have a couple of seasons. It gets hot in the summer and cold in the winter, yet not too hot or too cold. We just get a lot of rain. So we got to deal with that. Yet if that hit up here, that would be a huge problem. Think about the snow that the mountains were getting this last year. Pay attention to it. This is good stuff for us to be paying attention to. Okay, so food production is low right now. The United States, from what the information that was being shared, I encourage you to go see it. The United States doesn't have any reserves other than what we're bringing in and planning for and just our normal market rotations. There aren't really any reserves. And part of that is much of our food production domestically and internationally go to feed animals, or the production goes for other ingredients like ethanol. right? So a lot of the crop that's grown in the United States is not necessarily for human consumption. It's for industry. It's for industry. One specifically with, and I know some of you may have heard this, this is just going back to fundamentals to give us ahas. Fair? Tyson Foods. Tyson Foods is closing down 6 plants. This came out a couple days ago. Let me see when this, I guess the 27th, so a couple days ago. They're closing down 6 rural plants in a couple of states. Yet it may sound like a pinprick. It's 4,600 employees. 4,600 employees, done. They're closing the plants. They're offering them jobs other areas, moving them out of other states. Yet these are people that are established in their particular rural communities, and they don't have the financial capacity to do that. And these chicken processing facilities oftentimes was the major employer of these towns, these small towns of a couple thousand. 80% of the people worked for Tyson, or massive percentage. This may look like a pinprick, yet with Tyson going down, where are all of these other people that bought Tyson chicken? Where are they now going to go get theirs? Well, Tyson's still going, yet there's just less supply, less ability for us to produce at a high level, because at the end, who knows what's going on with animal feeds? Animal feeds are going to also be something that'll be in question, and they'll slowly get us to eat crickets and bugs. You know this. Any rate, I was reading this article this morning. We have to hold on. We really do have to hold on, and we have to be prepared, and we have to be prudent. We have to understand skills. I'm really not the most skilled man, and I've sure acquired a lot of skills over the years listening and doing. And sometimes the skill comes by doing, right? We have to look at something, we have to understand, we have to try. Some of us will never pull the trigger because we analyze and we analyze and we analyze and we prepare. We never pull the trigger on things that we should. This may be a season for you to consider pulling the trigger. If you haven't started a side hustle right now, you should. If you haven't started a side hustle right now, you should. You should also be following Bud, the Side Hustle Survivalist. Since this is live, you'll just have to throw him a hello. He has all sorts of great ideas. Chris Taylor, if you haven't checked out Chris Taylor, the Financial Preppers Welding channel, some of you may be welders. You could tell he is very passionate about it. Very passionate about it. And he's a tradesman. He's a tradesman. And learning a new trade right now doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. Doesn't mean a bad thing. Today, keep going. What is in your hand now that if you were able to work on it or get it completed or would push you one step forward? You've got to go forward. Right now, it's a really important time. And I got to be honest, just friend to friend, I get wore out too. I get seriously, absolutely slam blasted, pooped, and we got to keep going because you have children and animals and they don't sleep. We don't vacation much. One, right now, we don't intend on putting the money towards it. If we're traveling, it's for very specific reasons, like the Silver Symposium. Anybody going to the Silver Symposium listening right now? This is an opportunity for us to come and have like-minded individuals and for us to meet up and to get to know each other. We've got to keep ourselves connected. We have to keep ourselves connected. And I've been thinking, I'm joining the Economic Ninja, the Financial Prepper, Chris Taylor, and I think somebody else. I can't remember who else is up there and Stock Pulse at the Silver Symposium on Sunday, and it's called, I believe, God and Gold. And I've been thinking about that a lot. Why are precious metals so interesting? Why do they compel us to look at and to remove the idea of them being an investment and more of a hedge? Why are we finding value in the idea of a hedge right now? I learned this just through the Ninja's channel. I learned about it. Just like many of you have. And it opened up an idea and an understanding that kind of has expanded. Sorry, my nose, I don't know if I got a whisker up there or something like that, but I got a real tickle. Yet the Silver Symposium is really there for us to understand why precious metals are so important to watch and to be mindful of, and for us to understand and expand our understanding of why precious metals were placed on this earth and how they're used and how they're leveraged in all of our comings and goings. Very much so. Other than that, I appreciate you guys. Hey, Kurt, I know you and I talked about that some time back. So our job, if you can't go, is to go there with questions and with information. So if there's something you desire to know from some of the influencers that are going to be there, or if there's questions you would like us to ask, I'm going to be there asking questions and interviewing folks. So if you'd like to know something, you can shoot me a message through here, or you can send it to theshieldedprepper@gmail.com. I'd be interested to know. I'm going to go there. I'm going to say, hey, subscribers are asking these questions, and I'll ask them. So other than that, have a great day, guys. Appreciate you. Thanks for letting me give you an update on the deck. It's almost done. I'll let you know soon. One day at a time.